Hello and welcome to Relatively Ordinary. I'm Carl.
I'm Betsy. How's it going, babe?
It's going great. This is the third time that we're recording this because of some audiovisual issues.
Visual?
Audio visual.
I've never heard of visuals.
Yes.
What are they?
And I'm like on the cusp of losing my cool, but
Yeah.
I'm cool now.
Yeah, but you're the tech guru.
No, I am not the tech guru.
You are Seer IT support.
Mm-mm. No, I am not.
Well,
Nope. I need to hire someone for that.
no, you've been anointed that in your family, like your extended family.
No, well, it's my entire adult life. As soon as you tell someone that you work in the software industry or you have a degree in computer science, they're like, "Oh, you're IT?
Yeah.
Oh,
Boom.
I got this problem with my phone. Can you look at it?" Like, no, I can't. Like
But
imagine,
you can. You are pretty decent
yeah,
at
but it's
problem
like
solving.
it's like your friend comes over and it's like, "Oh, you're a mechanic, cool. Well, my car's making this tick 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 sound when I take a right turn at 45 miles an hour." And like, I don't know how you're talking about.
I know exactly that situation 'cause
Yes,
people
you
do it
do.
with me,
Yes,
but
you do. Yes. But you actually help people. I can't help
no,
anybody.
you can. You do help me
No,
with
I
my
am not.
IT
I
problems.
am not that type of uh, computer person.
All
So,
right,
yeah.
so you're doing okay outside of the tech issues we're
Yeah.
having, but hopefully that hurdle's
Yeah.
been managed. So,
We're here. We're here.
all
We're here.
right,
We're talking.
yeah,
So it's been a couple weeks since we've recorded.
mm-hmm,
And probably the big thing that we haven't talked about on the podcast is the Olympics,
oh yeah,
which were just I thought really, really fun.
yep,
Really enjoyed it. Our
mm-hmm,
daughter got really into it this
mm-hmm,
year. And so yeah, just was a nice and with all the crazy stuff that is going on and it's gotten crazier.
yeah,
It's gotten crazier in the last week.
mm-hmm,
But
yeah,
with all the crazy stuff going on, it was a nice diversion.
definitely a nice diversion. I appreciated just some opportunity to celebrate the US and just that sense of community among all the countries that were there and all the athletes that were pouring their heart and soul into their competition, and it was neat. I really enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for a good Olympic Games, and I lost a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Stayed up too late pretty much every night, but it
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
I I enjoyed the joy that so many of the athletes had in
Mhm.
competing and
Mhm.
in some cases athletes who didn't perform up to their expectations that were obviously disappointed, but were still able to embrace the experience and enjoy
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And then obviously some great stories of athletes who did win and
Mhm.
maybe weren't expected to,
Yeah.
like the skier from Italy,
Yeah.
Federica
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Brignone.
that was so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, there were so many surprise medals and some disappointments. I think it was also really important for our kids because we watch it as a family most nights, and that was really fun bonding time. But to see how the athletes stay composed,
yeah,
well, most of them, and managed their emotions. They're on this grand stage, like, televised, on hundreds of networks across the globe. And just from the young to the older, being able to manage the weight and the stress of that situation. And yeah, those individuals who and teams, we saw some teams shine, who stood out and made these incredible displays of athleticism. Like, wow, that was cool. I
yeah,
just loved it. It didn't matter what country they're from, but
yeah,
it was wonderful, of course, when it was the US.
yeah. Well, so on the topic of teams,
Mm-hmm.
our hockey teams won gold,
Yep.
which was amazing.
Yeah, that was really neat.
And then we had to turn it into a thing because
Mm-hmm.
we're living in Trump's America and
Yeah.
we can't just have nice things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, what was your take on the whole hockey team controversy?
Honestly, I think I got a little delayed in hearing about it. Work was really busy, and it was one of those things in the news. There's so much shit going down that it was sort of a subtopic
Yeah.
that I came across a couple days later. And so obviously the backlash had already started pouring out. And I guess I had a few thoughts. A, not surprised. B, love Hillary Knight's response. It's not my mess to clean up. And lastly, C, I think it just goes to show that we have a person who is antagonistic and likes to be the aggressor. We're not surprised that he's sexist and still is sexist. But also, that's an example of a microaggression. You know, from the men's hockey league perspective, the U.S. men's hockey team, like, I kind of feel bad because I would say that their response was the microaggression. You don't realize, it's usually unconscious when something like that happens. And honestly, if I was put in a room with a leader who was making those comments and trying to be celebratory, you'd probably laugh too, because you're just kind of going with the flow. You're in this state of euphoria, you're celebratory. It was probably just something that happened. And then upon reflection, we know some of them apologized, but it didn't need to happen in the first place. So let's not those young men, let them celebrate. We know that they have a lot of respect for the women's hockey team. Like, they don't need this shit. Just let them celebrate their gold and get all the joy out of that. And like, I think it now everyone else is making a bigger deal out of it than it needs to be. I mean, I truly think that the response from the captain of just being like, no, I'm not wasting time on that, is probably the best approach. And to me, that type of response is not unfamiliar. I would say most women probably hear shit like that all the time because we're acutely aware. It's the same type of experience that anyone who experiences microaggressions because, of their minority status or their, hardship or the situation they're dealing with, just the biases we all bring. And, I think the best thing you can do is what some of the men's hockey players did, which is say, yeah, that was dumb and I regret it. Moving on. So that's my thoughts on it.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah. If we had a bigger budget here, I'd say drop the mic, but we need these.
Yeah, I'm not going to break the mic.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Did you have different thoughts?
I mean, I can't really add much to that. I feel very similarly. I think actually the thing that popped into my head afterwards was, what you said earlier, many episodes ago of boys will be boys and girls will be women.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that was what popped into my head because I think it was, exactly what you said. Like, I don't like, I wish that, in that moment, and I'm sure there was guys in the room that wish they could have said something like, oh yeah, well, we support the women's team and just, like have a stronger stand on it. But the reality is like, it's like when you, we try to do like video calls around the holidays where you have like 6 people crowding around a iPhone trying to FaceTime your grandparents. And it's like, you don't really hear so good. You're just sort of like, it's more about the presence in the moment than it is about the words that are being said. So I think it's really kind of unfair to like judge people and nail them to the wall over that moment.
And you're missing the point because the poor leadership came from 100% from the perpetrator.
You had like 45 other people who've been president of this country, or 44, whatever the number is, who would have said some boring platitude about like, we're really proud of you and you represented the country and we're excited to have you back here and visit us at the White House and take care and enjoy your time with your families, blah blah blah, right? And we have the one friggin' schmucko who has to like drop. And by the way, it's like, Kash Patel and Donald Trump, like, they've never been in a fucking locker room. They've never like been a member of a team. They've never had like any kind of like winning jocular kind of atmosphere because they're fucking losers. And like, and this like, for them to turn this into their moment and to take that moment away from those guys is just so unfair.
Yep.
But to go back to the, the boys will be boys, girls will be women thing. It's,
Mhm.
you know, that's the reality of if you are a high level female athlete, you aren't just playing the sport, you're also carrying the mantle for your gender and you're carrying the mantle for women's sports at large at all times.
Mhm.
And you don't have the like it's never not intermixed with politics and society and all of these other things. It's never just about the game because there's
Mhm.
always that context.
Mhm.
And so you see the way, the women handled themselves in the situation. And they just, they were prepared for it because that's the reality of it. The
Yeah.
guys, like the guys weren't thinking about that because they shouldn't have to, right?
Yeah.
But like it's definitely a double standard.
Mhm. Yeah. They were forced into it,
So
and then they had to manage it,
yeah. But
and manage it they should.
you know,
Like, however they wanna manage it,
yeah.
right? And
And
let
I've seen some of the comments and, I think the other thing that was like really unfair, like, you know, um, Jack Hughes in the
Mm.
post game interview, like he was asked, like, what was the first thing you thought about after, the game winning goal? And he was like, I thought about Megan Keller, who scored the game winning goal for the women. Like,
Mhm.
these guys, they were tight. They spent time with each other. There was
Mhm.
a lot of mutual respect there. So, like,
Mhm.
for people who, are eager to jump on it and,
Oh,
cast them as
that's
misogynists and all this stuff, it's like,
totally. Yeah, they want to.
that's not fair.
No,
You're looking to,
because it's clickbait at this point,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
I can't fall prey to that.
yeah. But I mean,
As much of a feminist as I am, I'm still pretty grounded.
yeah. No, it's good. I mean, I'm glad you had that nice grounded response because I was hoping we'd duke it out, but
Oh,
no clickbait here, no
no
clickbait
clickbait.
here. But yeah, and congrats,
Yeah,
well deserved gold
totally.
medals.
And I want to say one of my favorite athletes in all of it, what we were talking about this when we were off the air, it was Alyssa Liu,
Oh yeah,
especially when I think about my daughter,
the champion.
who's a burgeoning athlete herself, that there was this really good role model for, I'd say, all women, but especially that generation. That was so beautiful.
I
Like,
think
it was
everyone.
bringing
I mean,
tears
it's a
to my
role model for
eyes.
me, man. Like,
I know.
just a happy, like poised,
Down to earth, grounded, but
mindful.
mature and
Yeah,
hardworking,
yeah.
well-deserved. My gosh, I have so much
And
pride.
and figure skating to me is not a sport that I love. It's a sport that I'm usually like, oh my god, I have to watch more figure skating to get to
You
the stuff
watched a lot.
that I have to watch,
Mhm.
that I like came to watch, like
Mhm.
skiing and hockey and stuff. But I
Mhm.
will say I watched more figure skating this Olympics than I ever have, thanks to our daughter. And I really enjoyed watching her perform because she was she enjoyed every second. She
Yeah.
embraced the entire experience. And I
Mhm.
think figure skating is one of those things where like especially with the younger skaters, and they tend to be very young, especially the females,
Mhm.
like they don't skate for themselves. Like they feel like they're, it
Mm.
seems like they're skating for their coach, they're skating with their parents, they're skating for their country. And
Mhm. There's a lot of pressure.
it's a lot of pressure and they don't seem to, at least in the past, enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And to see her really like embrace it and make it a very
Mhm.
personal experience and then go out and kick everyone's ass and take home the
Mhm.
gold was awesome. So
Mhm.
yeah, really cool.
In a very celebratory way too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement and joy.
Yeah.
It was wonderful to see that all 3 women who were on the podium were so excited for
Yeah.
each
Very
other.
supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I mean, that sport, it's, look, that not to take anything away from the athletes, but like when you get to the things that like determine first place from fifth place, it seems pretty freaking arbitrary. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
very close.
from an outsider's perspective, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
whatever. Like,
Yeah, especially
you know,
when there's judging,
yeah.
right? It's not
So
based on speed or something like
yeah,
that. Mhm.
totally. All right. Well, that's
Can I
enough
ask
on
you
the
my
Olympics.
question?
Yeah, let's.
My question is sort of relevant. I don't know how it came to me, but I'm curious if you could be a woman for a day.
Wow. That's nobody's ever asked me that before.
I think I have, and you took it in a really raunchy way. So yes, aside from touching yourself a lot,
Wow. Wow.
You
I
you
mean, I would have to make sure
don't
that I am
pretend you didn't think that. Don't pretend.
that is not the first thing
All
I
right,
thought of.
What is something you think you'd want to like do? Like what role would you like to try on in that day just to see what it's like to be a woman for the day?
I mean,
You know I'm not wrong about my comment.
to be honest, like I don't think that I want that, but
Oh, interesting. You
yeah.
wouldn't want to be a woman for the day.
No.
Okay, what scares you about it then?
Well, I mean,
I'm curious. Like, if someone said I could be a man for the day, oh, fucking bring it on.
yeah. of
Like, I'll
course.
stuff my pants and start dressing like a man. I'd be the shortest man
Get you a little mustache.
from my zip code. Yeah, I won't. I'll look very feminine. But
No, I mean, I think like I don't know, maybe it's on my mind because of that topic or the hockey topic, and then also like some of the things that I want to talk about today.
Being more limber.
Like, yeah, I mean, I guess like
Touch your toes.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't fart as much, but
or you might.
Yeah,
You're just better at disguising it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
You-
actually no.
you
Actually,
never
no.
thought about being a woman. Okay.
I have it. I have it.
Okay.
I want to be. I want to be like in the room with other women and hear how
Oh,
other women talk to
yeah.
each other and
Hear all
what they
the-
say. So
hear-
that's
yep,
what.
hear all
That's
the
where
tea.
I go. Yeah, because I'm like I think
Get the
about like,
gossip. Oh yeah, get the like how do we interact and the emotional.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
okay,
what's the like what do when there's no male ears around, what do the women really say? That's what I what I
Okay.
want. So yeah.
Okay.
That's
all
what
right.
I'd
all
go
right.
straight for the tea.
Okay. Sweet. All right. Well, if I was a man, I think I would want to go into a very important meeting with an agenda and just see how I'm perceived and if it's different than how I'm perceived now. Just to see, like, what would that difference be? Or
I think it
even
would just
something
piss you off.
I think even if it was something simple like walking in an airport, how am I treated at the
Yeah.
hardware store? Like just to experience if I'm going around looking masculine, but I'm still driving my blue Subaru.
Yeah, but part of the problem with the hardware store is you might have to go pretend. You might have to like pretend that you know what you're talking about when you have no fucking idea.
Yeah, but isn't that what you do anyway?
I mean, yeah, but like
I could do a quick
you,
Google search.
it works when everyone else is full of it, but like when someone on the other side actually knows what they're talking about and you don't, no, it's not good.
Okay.
It's not good.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I could still swing it and gain a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
So,
And
urinals.
Yeah, urinals are mostly great. Yeah, they're mostly
I was
great.
thinking,
Very
I
efficient.
thought you were going to say disgusting, but
No, I mean, well, that's why I say mostly great because
Okay.
at
they are
least
disgusting.
10 to 40% disgusting,
Okay.
and upwards from there, depending on
Okay.
the situation.
Yeah, I think I'll turn back into myself before midnight. That's usually when it gets bad, right? After
yeah.
midnight in a bar.
Yeah, after midnight urinals, no good.
Yeah.
pretty much anywhere you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. That was my question.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. So my topic for today is about, and it's really kind of centered on two things related to social media and specifically Facebook.
Okay.
So first of all, I just completed reading the book Careless People by Sarah Wynne Williams.
The one I bought you for Christmas but read first.
And then you read it, yep. Which is I think it's a well-written, easy to read insider's take on one woman's experience at Facebook at a period at which Facebook became really like inextricably woven with the social political fabric
of the world.
Not just the US, but the world. So I think the period was like maybe 2010 to 2018,
Sounds about right.
something
Yeah.
there. And then also the high profile lawsuit that's underway right now, where social media companies are being sued over addictive products that have caused, mental harm to young people. And
Maybe all people, but
yeah, but
they're a
the
vulnerable
lawsuits are
bunch.
specifically
Yes.
about young
Minors.
people. And and there is compelling evidence both in the book and in coming up in this court case and
Oh,
other
yeah.
places that Facebook especially, but not just Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat have created, they
These
in their
algorithms.
pursuit of growth and usage targets. And it's like, look, the more time your eyeballs are on this
Yep.
platform, the more money they make. So
Yep.
they are motivated extrinsically to keep you on the platform. And the evidence is there, right? I think most of us who have used social media have experienced it. It's addictive, and I think it can be pretty harmful. So, I think just starting with the basics of like, at a societal level, do you feel like this is harmful, and do you feel that a lawsuit like this is the way to try to mitigate some of that harm?
Well, as an expert in this realm, no. Okay, so starting with the harmful, yeah, 100%. I mean, you mentioned people know this personally if you are on one or more of these sites, but yeah, especially if you have children, you're hopefully acutely aware of their stronghold of attention and, the time warp, the doom scrolling that occurs with this vulnerable population. But the evidence is very compelling. And having read the book, it's one woman's perspective, but there's no reason for her to not be transparent. So it seemed like a very credible source. And this is someone who's not necessarily an expert in the software, but knew it well enough to understand the harm it was inflicting in a geopolitical realm. But certainly you can see that translating to, the social influences, outside of politics. And they are really good at knowing how to work those algorithms. And I've seen so much change. I mean, we were talking about this with our kids the other day. When I first got a Facebook account, it felt innocent. It felt harmless. And maybe it even wasn't at that time, but it was probably 2007?
Yeah, 2007 is when Facebook
Okay.
really kind of launched publicly to the world.
And, at that point, it was friending true friends in real life, IRL, right? As the kids say, or maybe they don't say that anymore.
Yeah, I think that's already that one's already come and gone. Yeah,
okay.
that's how behind times you are.
Yeah, and hey, I wasn't trying to claim that I was up with it, but then we have it was family members and old high school buddies, but it was a group of people who I enjoyed getting updates on and sharing communications with and photographs. And my information felt private enough that, I wasn't going to go on and share every personal detail, but I felt comfortable sharing photos of my young children because I thought, okay, my grandmother's going to see that. And it was only this mutual agreeable exchange. And then to know that over the years, the software got manipulated to collect my data, to use that to drive advertising, to, manipulate elections, and then some of the stuff they were doing in other countries that didn't have any internet access and they thought Facebook was the internet. and that's just one company, right? I was very curious because you had always talked about these evils, but, we see that they're just one example of several. And now they have these monopolies. They're all owned by a few singular entities or private equity I don't even know. Like, this is the stuff where it starts to lose me. I don't know who owns what and how we're being manipulated, but it's like this mega, grip of our data. And I'm fairly literate, not just literate in the sense that I can read and write and all that, but I'm pretty well educated and literate on how computers work, right? We talk about digital natives, but are they truly aware of how they're being manipulated? The kids? No. And actually, our son is a good example because I can tell him till I'm blue in the face that this stuff is harmful. And he can have teachers tell him and put restrictions on it. And there can be, despite having such a helpful, resourceful device as the, personal phone, we can have some parental controls and they're still accessing this stuff and still, getting manipulated and, all the harm that can from the simple pieces of I just wasted a half hour doom scrolling to, I have significant mental health issues that are exacerbated by these platforms. And, kids, it's not having as big of an effect as we would like. And it wasn't until
What isn't?
The parental controls
Oh, okay.
and the teachers messaging it and the parents telling you it's harmful. And for him specifically, he's a bright kid and he's heard this message for years. And it was listening to the Pivot podcast about the lawsuit that it's gotten this mass media attention that there is is it a class action lawsuit? I'm not even sure. Oh no, it's a lawsuit with a specific family, right?
Yeah.
Against YouTube and Meta.
Yeah, I think
that's
there's
my
a whole
understanding.
slate. I think
Okay.
YouTube, Meta, Snapchat. I think there's
okay.
a whole slate of them in there.
And he was like, "Wow, you need to go in and be stricter with these parental controls. It's a problem." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, so
Arg!
I didn't know about that you had that conversation.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I heard him mention, make a comment about, the limit that is on his Instagram.
And he can see his own data, his own daily data, and he was policing that too, but you can easily ignore it. It feels harmless, right?
Yeah.
We tell them the dangers of drugs and alcohol, but come on, this is benign. Everyone has a device. Everyone has these apps downloaded. So to say harmful, yes. I think I'm very much let's read the original research myself. When we talk about the lawsuit specifically, I think that is a necessary evil. I'm not one to be very litigious, but you made a really good point, and that it's a path towards further scrutiny and further restriction. Like you said, the reason that, they're on this manhunt and trying to, hopefully set a precedent here is so that they can act further change. And so I think it's going to be good and effective. What I don't like is that if I'd want to look at, like I said, I'd want to look at the research and have my own perspective on it because a lot of research is flawed and there's so many confounding variables. And if we take the example I remember hearing about of this, young woman and the social media addiction, well, we can't say that Meta alone is what caused her mental health issues. And I have so much sympathy for this family. And I don't know if this young woman committed suicide, but let me finish here.
Yeah.
There are so many other variables, and you can't discount genetic factors and, family household factors and other environmental factors. This certainly can exacerbate it.
Yeah. I just you're 100% right? And people harmed themselves and had mental health issues long before any of this stuff existed.
Yes.
So yes, but you also have to look at the fact that Facebook's own research found that, they found that young people were posting when, they're posting negative feelings, negative emotive posts
Mm-hmm.
on the website,
Mm-hmm.
and they would capitalize on that
Oh, yeah.
because their own research told them that when someone's feeling insecure, a young
Mm-hmm.
girl is feeling insecure about her looks,
Mm-hmm.
if you target an ad about cosmetics
Mm-hmm.
in that moment, she's more likely to pay attention to it and to eventually buy that product.
Yeah.
So they had
Super harmful.
research on this.
Mm-hmm.
They had internal debates. They had like people internally questioning, this really shouldn't do this. This really isn't ethical.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, yeah, but we're going to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And then they
do it
took
in
that and they put it in PowerPoint decks. Look, I work in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
I work in sales. I put together, materials and PowerPoint decks and things to like try to convince, a client to buy my company's products. And if that came up in my life, that would be the last day that I work at that company. I'd give them my 2 weeks notice and I'd say, you can keep my computer because I'm not doing this.
I have no doubt that money was the bottom line in all that decision making.
And the problem is, and this is like the author of that book, she eventually was like burnt out and pushed out. But, she was on her way out because of her own ethical quandaries. And what happens is the people who have ethical quandaries leave.
Yeah.
And then everyone who's left either does not give a shit.
Yeah.
Or is just an amoral person.
Right. And is willing to bury the truth for whatever gain, they think is more important.
I agree with you on the research. Like, I don't think that, it's like the same thing with there was a high profile young person who committed suicide after talking with ChatGPT. I'm like, that's not ChatGPT's fault. But is there someone at ChatGPT who could have known that something like this was happening and could have happened? And did they do anything to try to prevent it?
Yeah. So strong correlation.
Yes.
Right. And I think what you said about it being an important ethical consideration is what we need these tech companies to consider, because so much of what they do has had significant impact on political outcomes and, criminal activity abroad. And, even, this thing with the, this lawsuit and minors and all of that. But just think about the misinformation. I don't know. There just needs to be with great power, you need to have a moral compass.
Oh,
and
man,
if
I thought
you
were
can't,
going Spider-Man.
No, what was I going to say? What's Spider-Man?
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, sure. I mean, I'm not that much of a Spider-Man nerd, but sure.
You were all lined up for it.
Oh, well, thanks. You helped fill the gap.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just can't reconcile. Well, actually, I can, because if we were to think about Meta as an example and Mark Zuckerberg as an example, like, I don't know the man personally, but he's around my age. He's brilliant. Like, and you always talked about, is he really worth, 1,000 times your,
nobody can do that math.
Value. I don't know what it is. He's very, very, very wealthy. And, probably extremely generous. And, he's got, sounds like a, maybe his wife's very generous. But regardless, I think what maybe needs to happen is a better checks and balances of these systems.
You were talking about ownership, right? And this is one of the problems, I think, is that, like Zuckerberg and Bezos and Elon Musk are maybe like the top examples. Especially Zuckerberg and Musk, the way they have structured their
Mm-hmm.
corporations,
Mm-hmm.
they have zero accountability. Like there is no, they are like the dictator of the
Yeah.
company. So they,
Yeah.
like, usually in a publicly traded company, the leadership is accountable to the
A
board of
board.
directors
Mm-hmm.
and the shareholders, who
Mm-hmm.
can remove them or check them, in
Mm-hmm.
some way. The way they've structured their companies, they can, I think, like with uh, Musk, he can replace the board. So if the board is like, no, we don't like what you're doing, he can just
They're out.
say, you're out. I'm going to go find some sycophants to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like when he was going through his whole like $1 trillion pay package and all of that. It's like, you know, that that's not how it's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to a certain extent, it's like, look, you're a capitalist and you created this amazingly successful company. So like, I sure, whatever.
Do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, but like you don't see these people trying to become complete human beings. You don't see them trying to
No.
like understand the world and make it a better place. You just see them trying to amass wealth
Mm-hmm.
and power
Mm-hmm.
and make their corporations a tribute to their own glory.
And, if I kind of circle back to what I was thinking, it seems like there should be some requirement to at least take a business ethics class, right? I mean, that's these individuals who get into leadership roles, adjacent to everything that they've accomplished, they're now, you know, in charge of billions and trillions of dollars and making these, huge decisions about how, it's affecting economic structure. It's affecting our, our
Everything.
environment.
The fabric of Western
It's
civilization. I mean,
affecting political
it
parties.
is a mutation of Western civilization that was unanticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And and again, it's like you get to a point where it's like, how much wealth is enough?
Mm-hmm.
How, like, I saw this
Well,
thing.
even that aside, keep your money, right? But
Sure,
why?
but like, what's the difference between 100 billion and 300 billion?
I don't even know, and that's fine. They can keep it if like that's the prize they get to earn. But I don't think it needs to be at the insult and injury to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And you keep cutting me off.
Well, I don't
No.
agree that that anyone needs that much wealth, though.
Fine. But that to me is the smallest consequence of this. Like, fine, have that much money and you can be a wackadoo and have
like,
your
it's not, the money
private
means
jets.
something. The money means, like, at a certain point, it's like, when you own a significant portion of the world's wealth, it means that, like, you own the land and the air and the water that other people live in. I mean, quite literally.
We need to tax them more. That's a whole separate conversation. But with what I was going to say is that, okay, well, here's a good example. I have a professional who has a licensing body. And in order to stay active and licensed and be able to practice, I need to follow the practice guidelines and the ethical responsibility of what my profession has adopted.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is missing in my mind. Or is there something that exists? Because maybe that would be the checks and balances of all this.
Yeah, but I think this is where, I mean, I love what you're thinking, right? But it's like we have the people who run our government right now don't follow the Constitution.
Yeah.
which
Well,
is that
that's an
for an
outlier.
entire nation. It's not an outlier.
Well, are you saying that there's been an abuse of power for
Well,
presidents during our lifetime?
we can get off on the tangent, and I won't go too far down this road, but like, you know, the war powers resolution that Congress is considering passing to try to at least put people on record of where they stand in this aggression in Iran, which is a smart thing to do. Like, let's just get Congress to,
Yeah.
you can support it. Say you support it. Put your vote on, I support this, right? But the fact is, the president does not have the authority by the Constitution to declare war or to unilaterally create an act of war.
But prior to this
Trump did that,
administration,
Biden did that, Obama did that, Bush did that, Clinton did that, Bush did that, Reagan did that, Ford did that, Carter did that, Nixon did that. Shall I go on?
yes, please.
I mean,
how many more?
All the way back, all the way back. I mean, it's basically every president has declared war or used the military in a way to initiate war, participate in war, even though the Constitution expressly forbids that. So there's that. And then, of course, there's the absolute egregious, violations of the Constitution that we continue to see from this administration. So to take it back, like, unfortunately,
there's no way to rein it in.
You can't. Well, and the thing about like unrestrained capitalism, which is what this is that it is in some respects, it's like this pure pursuit of human, creativity, ingenuity, courage to just go build and create and try and, fail and build again and try. That's very admirable. And I think that like you don't get, technological advances, you don't get scientific advances, you don't get like, I mean, even just like some of the stuff in the Olympics, we're talking about like, I feel like an old fogey because I'm telling the kids like back in my day, like, if a snowboarder pulled off a 1080, that was amazing. Now, like, these guys are doing 4.5 spins.
We have a quad god.
Yeah, we have a friggin' figure skater who does 4 spins. Like, it's just like, but, the first person to be like, yeah, cool, I saw you do 3 spins, I'm going to do 4. Like that is like one of the amazing parts of, our species and why we're so interesting. So you're not going to be able to constrain people to be like, well, I could do that, but I won't because I'm following the rules. Like, but I think, you don't have, what concerns me more is that you have these people who like, they get to a certain level of like, if I ever got, I don't know what the number would be, but if I made $100 million, like I'm out, man.
Retired.
I'm out. Like, and I'm going to go, like, I am going to, like learn to stand on my head and learn another language and, meditate. And like, I'm going to be like a well-rounded person.
You're
and
I'm going to hug trees.
I'm going to work on myself and I'm going to do, try to be a better human being with that time. And what I see is like, whatever it is about some of these people, like the game for them is more wealth, more power. It's not about like, I have enough and now I'm going to, try to do something good, give back, like round myself out as a human, whatever. It's just like,
I think it's more of a power game.
Need more, need more, need more.
It's got to be a power game because once you're on top, you don't want to lose that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, that's the game for all these people.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not a game because it's people's livelihoods.
Yes. So I am curious if you see a way forward. Like, are we going to
No, because you shot down all my ideas and you think I'm naive. No, no, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. No, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I think the government needs to do something to help rein it in. You know, power beats power.
Well, good luck with that.
No, it's not happening. And yeah, I think, as you said, like, I made a good point in a prior conversation that it's this lawsuit is to set precedent, and hopefully then there'll be better regulations put in place. And it's a moving target, so it's gonna need to be closely monitored. And yeah, I mean, I don't know enough to know if there's a way forward. I truly am naive enough to think that people could just be morally good and make some smart decisions. If honestly, I'm curious what you think I would do if I had as much money as Musk. What do you think I would do?
Well, you wouldn't.
Okay, true. I probably wouldn't even get there. But let's just say I didn't evolve into a position to have that much money. But let's just say I was born into it.
Yeah, you married Elon Musk.
Ew, fuck. Oh, Jesus, don't break the mic. No, that's
That was
absolutely
awesome.
disgusting.
That
You
was
could
awesome.
not in a million years. Oh. No. And it doesn't have to be by marriage. Let's just say I was born into a lot of wealth.
Well,
and I am who I am.
yeah. Now we're
All right.
getting weird.
Okay. All right. Now you can't even. If I had a lot of money, and I probably won't because I am a bleeding heart, but I would do some good in the world.
Yeah.
And I think we just need to have. There are a lot of people like that. I think what we need to do as a society is to elevate that standard. We need to have a little bit more, guardrails around how these superpowers manipulate individuals for more money.
You would be the next generation's George Soros. You would be the one they would like have all kinds of like QAnon conspiracy theories about you.
Yeah, that'd be a waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a path forward, but I do think that, despite me saying like, oh yeah, just let them have their money within reason, like just, okay, sure, here, take some wealth and go away, like hide under a rock and leave us alone. But I think there needs to be a redistribution of wealth for sure. Because, we have some situations that could easily be solved by doing that. And I am definitely in favor of countries and communities who have a better standard of living for everyone.
Yeah.
Across the board then. And I think it just creates healthier and happier communities when that's done.
Yeah. Well, I think of, again, I have a hard time imagining you with that kind of wealth because you couldn't. But like,
I don't know. Maybe I played.
No, you couldn't.
Gambled.
You couldn't because the things you have to do to become that wealthy,
Be a corrupt liar.
You're incapable
Abuse
of
my
because of how
powers.
your ethics work. So, and I'm not saying that to imply that every single fabulously wealthy person is unethical. I'm just saying that's like, there comes a point when it's like, okay, I have $50 million. I need, I could live extravagantly on $10 million for the rest of my life. I'm going to take the other 40 and I'm going to give it to charity and I'm going to go live well, right? Like that's what I think most sort of like socially healthy, well-rounded people would do. I do think, there was a moment where, Bill Gates really seemed to be committed to, I've got all this money and I'm well connected and I've got this brain and I'm just going to I'm going to invest my time and I'm going to work towards like doing good things in the world. And, he did for a while. And I think he probably got burnt out because there was so much like venom against him. And also, he was doing whatever he was doing, including visiting Epstein's Island. but I think that's likely what you would do is you would be like, how can I use these resources to try to do good things in the world? And that's the thing that makes me kind of the saddest of all is like when you have all these really brilliant people, like I just don't, I, I would love to understand like what happened to Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, these people that they like, at what point did they just be like, screw it, I don't care about people, I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
take care of myself?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. And we also don't know their side of the story.
I don't want to know the other side of the story.
Okay.
All right. So what are you still chewing on?
Um, that I don't think these issues are going to go away easily. The answers are not obvious.
Not blown in the wind.
No, and I do think in large part it's because they do have a stronghold in how this world is run. So good luck trying to temper that,
Yeah.
even with legal action, which is probably our biggest weapon. I don't know that you can really shift things when it's so influential. So this is where I could easily feel some despair, and I just look to what I can control in the
Yeah.
world. And I mean, I think you get into this stuff way more than me, and it gets you more worked up. I read that book so I could be enlightened and be less naive, but I don't try to let it impact my day-to-day life outside of trying to be, a little smarter in my decisions and how I raise my kids and the intentions I put out in the world.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. That's what I'm chewing on.
Yeah.
You don't look satisfied with that answer.
No, I was just trying to figure out if I agree with you or not, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you.
You agree with my opinions or my perception of how you
Yeah.
reflect on this stuff?
Yeah. What do you find relatively ordinary?
I don't think any of it feels ordinary. I don't know. I mean, it's just,
It's interesting.
yeah, it just doesn't, I don't know, I, it does frustrate me. Like, I can't even perceive that level of wealth. I can't. And I don't want to. Reading that book, I think you got a little bit of insight. And of course, I've watched movies of, things that are probably what a day-to-day life is, like, being on a private jet and over the top fancy hotels, but I can't really reconcile that level of wealth and how it coincides with a level of power and responsibility, whether they're aware of it or not. And, possible stress and, what the social circumstances are of that. That would be something interesting to not only be a man, but be a man who was extremely wealthy and powerful for the day. That would be illuminating.
There you go.
And I don't think I would like it. So it doesn't feel ordinary to me. It doesn't feel ordinary,
Yeah.
right? I think
Well, we went far afield of our
original
topic, but I hear
it's
what you're
still
saying.
related though, because it was about the lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and how
Well, yeah, I think
social media is influencing like that. It's like all the stuff with AI. Like we don't know where it came from and
yeah,
where it's going and how it's
the
being
implication
controlled.
of the power that you can just be like, no, we have to continue doing this because it's important and screw everyone else.
Yes.
And you have to listen to me because I have billions of dollars.
Yes. Like, and there's no checks and balances. There's no taking personal responsibility for it.
Yeah.
There, you can throw lawyers and more money at it, and maybe, it's inconvenient and you have some profit losses that quarter, but it's not ordinary.
Yeah.
It's this big, ugly, hot mess.
Yeah.
And again, I can only control my circumstances. But I know it's pervasive. I mean, maybe that's what's ordinary, is that it's so pervasive.
Yeah.
We see it across the board. So maybe that's it.
I feel that, it's like, I feel that before the last probably 15, 20 years, and, maybe this is just me growing up and becoming old and grizzled and cynical, but I feel like in the past, it wasn't as blatantly obvious that we're all just getting screwed. You know what I mean? Like, I think like, they hid it better.
Yeah.
Now they're just, they don't even hide it. It's all out in the open. Like, you're just getting screwed all the time.
In what way?
Well, okay, so there was a guy, this is a story on NPR. There is a guy who made over $500,000 on Kalshi, the prediction market, by betting that the supreme leader of Iran would die.
Wow.
Okay. Well, why did he bet? Why did he make that bet? Because he had insider information from the administration that they were going to target this guy and kill him. Right. So that's what, like, these prediction markets, right? You can bet, like, what color tie is President Trump going to wear.
I know, they piss you off.
So if you're like, you are President Trump's cousin, and he's like, hey, I'm going to wear a blue tie. You go bet, right? Like, it's so fucking corrupt. It's so corrupt, right? The cryptocurrency thing, like, he just started coining his own cryptocurrencies. Like, it's like, I'm going to sell this coin, nod, nod, wink, wink. And if you want to get your husband out of jail, buy $20 million of Trump coin.
No.
Right?
The only thing I feel like I have control over these days is just putting good humans out in the world.
Yeah.
Through my,
through
my own children, through my teaching.
At the end of the day, there are still way, way, way more of us than them. And there are way more good people.
I need
in the
something
world.
optimistic to end on here, Carl.
No, I mean, seriously, like, it's the only chance that we have as good people in the world is so.
You would think
organize.
We could overcome that 1%.
Is to organize.
And they're not, I guess they're not all bad people, but maybe they are.
I mean, they don't need to be the 1%. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
They don't need to be the 1%.
That's true. Okay. I think we should end on that positive note.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we maybe did a topsy-turvy with this topic, but
yeah, it was good.
I'm sure there was a lot that you were hoping to say that you probably got to say.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but good chat.
Yes, good chat. Heavy,
yeah.
but good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
good stuff.